All right, Tribe. Well, bringing you guys up to speed on the progress with the Z900RS Cafe. We've got the short RS runners now installed. And I'll let you guys take a peek down into here. Nice direct shot into those throttle bodies. Airbox mod also in play. Get that lit up for you right in there. Looking forward to this. You know, I've made some modifications to the bike. It has been tuned already by Ivans, but it did have the longer stacks. Didn't necessarily like the way that the bike rode with the longer stacks. To bring you guys up to speed from the factory, well, the center stacks, the velocity stacks, are significantly longer. 90-degree bend. I guess they're good for torque, but the reality is that it just didn't seem to have the power that I thought that it should. It would basically fall off at about 9,500 RPM on the tack. Keep in mind, though, that from the factory, she'd start falling off around 85. Now with these shorter stacks, she'll be able to pull clean to redline at 10,000 RPM. Absolutely looking forward to that. And of course, the equal length velocity stacks just do a little bit of something for my OCD, I guess you could say. But overall, this combination is documented to be between 120 and 125 horsepower to the rear wheel. That's going to equate to somewhere around 135, 137 at the flywheel. That is about the amount of power that I was wanting out of a bike like this. Couldn't buy it, so I had to kind of, well, massage what I bought. Speaking of massaging, we can also chat about that Bonneville. Because until the reflash lands back at our doorstep, there won't be much else going on with this thing except just buttoning it up, waiting for the ECU to arrive. But this little work of art right here, I gotta tell you guys, this thing, slowly turning into one of my favorites. With the tune, and I've been tweaking on the tune pretty much all day. I've got to get this thing on a dyno to get a wideband to just validate air-fuel ratio, make sure she's happy. But just with the throttle adjustments that I've made, some of the slight fueling adjustments, played around with timing, couldn't really feel much of a difference there, but I'm also being very, very cautious. And yeah, you would think that I would be. Again, I don't have a dyno, but I'm just going off of what I've known in the past to work for cars, at least. I know that doesn't necessarily move over to motorcycles as well, but this thing, I can tell you what little I have done to it has made a humongous difference with how this bike gets down the road. And not the least of which, you know, we're talking about throttle settings and all of that, but you know, from the factory, this thing has got 180 kilometer per hour speed limiter. Little wonder why I was saying, God, it feels like it's starting to hit a bit of a brick wall at 110 miles an hour or so. Well, yeah, we took care of that. No more speed limiter on this thing. There's no real brick wall at 110. This bike absolutely rips, and it's not a super bike at all. And it doesn't look like one. You wouldn't expect it to perform like one, but my friends, on the highway, on the road, in town, stoplight to stoplight, that little British hot rod is a straight up dragster. Absolutely rips once you hit mid-range. Once this bike comes into its own, and it comes into its own very early, that big 1200cc parallel twin 270 crank, it sounds the business with that British Customs X-pipe, factory silencers. I can't say enough good things about this bike. And the more I've been able to experiment with it and the more I've been able to ride it, especially today, really being able to ring it out, I got to tell you guys, this thing is at the top of the list just for being a kick-ass motorcycle to take for a ride. And with that, guys, I got to wrap it up, start getting this thing put back together. Post up your comments. Let me know what you got going on in your garage, and we'll catch you on the next one. Adios.